It's about EEAT and entity optimization. But I would say it's more about entity optimization than EEAT. This is me, you know, this is the speaker side. And yeah, in the briefing it said I should add an annoying guy with a watch, telling about the time. So 29 minutes left. Thank you, Thiago. And first, I want to say something about experience. So I have 40 plus years on Earth, 20 plus years online marketing experience, 15 years SEO, 10 years in leadership roles. And I have also some expertise. I know about technical SEO for large websites, about inbound marketing, including email and social media. I know about entity optimization, it's Google Knowledge Graph, as well as marketing automation with N8N and a little bit about AI agents. Authority. I was a speaker on leading SEO conferences like SEO Campus, SMX Munich, SEO Cologne, the Oktoberfest, SIXT series, and many more. And trustworthiness. Just check out my LinkedIn profile. There are some recommendations from former colleagues and testimonials on my website. So, yeah, thank you. 27 minutes left. So, this is the second time that I'm presenting here? Yeah, right, Thiago, that's true. Actually, 2013, I was here as well. So, yeah, back then I didn't have a lederhosen yet, but now I have. And back then I worked for a big media brand. I was head of SEO at Build, so I was in my first leadership role. And yeah, back then I talked a little bit about brands or online marketing in general, but I thought back then in 2013 that brand is a good topic. So I said like, wenn du eine Marke bist, dann lieb dich Google. And why I believed that this was a hot topic back then is because I had been two quotes from Eric Schmidt, who was the CEO of Google back then. The first quote was from 2010. It's quite famous. It's this one. The internet is fast becoming a cesspool where false information thrives. Brands are the solution, not the problem. Brands are how you sort out the cesspool. Probably you have heard about this quote before, but why it's so relevant. Between 2010 and 2013 had been very important things going on with Google. Google had founded Google Plus, their own social network, to find out who is connected and basically build a social graph of all the users. And on the other side, they have launched in 2012 the Google Knowledge Graph. So then, 2013, the second quote back then in my presentation was this one. Within search results, information tied to verified online profiles will be ranked higher than content without such verification, which will result in most users naturally clicking on top verified results. Because back then, with Google Plus, those profiles looked like this in the search. So back then you could have really nice images and how many people have you circled in Google Plus and so on. So it was really about authorship back then. And the other thing that was quite new 2013 was these boxes here on the right. So brands that had been in the Google Knowledge Graph were able to get those nice boxes. So back then about author and publisher. Enough with the review. Yes, 25 minutes left, I know. So the question that Thiago has is here, why does it still matter today? Good question. It's because now we have EEAT. And EEAT in the documentation from Google is a lot about the question, who created the content? And let's have a look at this. So Google says here, if you're clearly indicating who created the content, you're on a path to success. We strongly encourage adding accurate authorship information. So this is a person. This person has a name, it's Hans. So you see, now he's Hans. Hans is probably our author. These are bylines from a real website. So here we also have authorship information, in this case, Robert. And this is linking to an author profile page. Let's have a look. So here, this is a graph where we have a profile page, and the main entity of this profile page is Robert. And this profile page is on the website of an organization, so this organization is the publisher of this profile page. And the person is author for the publisher for this organization, because it's connected through the profile page. So this is the profile page from Robert. There is a name, there is an image, and this is actually how far most websites go with their profile pages. They have a name and an image. That was it. So it's not enough probably, but we will look why this is a very good example. But in our knowledge graph, we know here Robert is the person and he has an image. But what's also great here is that there are links to other verified profiles, like we have learned before in the documentation from Google. And here they also have the same as. So the same as links to other verified profiles of this person that Google might already have indexed, crawled, and so on. So it's a good connection. Also, there's a link to the company this guy is working for. And of course, in the structured data, they also have then the information person works for organization, company. So we have here two entities, the person entity and the organization he's working for. This is how it looks in our graph. We have the person works for organization. I see, yeah, everything is clear. You just ask yourself when it gets interesting. So this is Hans. Hans works for SIXT. So we have here in our schema, works for organization, name, SIXT SE, and we give also the URL because then it's for Google easier to understand what organization we actually mean. So very useful. Robert lives in Houston, Texas, so we give the home location and we have another data point. Hans, he lives in Munich, so home location is another entity, place, Munich. This is all about connecting different entities. So Robert, he has is alumni of, he has studied at US Military Academy West Point and Harvard University, and Hans, he has studied at Technische Universität München. Also, we give an alternate name here, TUM, and we give the URL, so Google clearly knows what university is named here. Robert has a PhD. Hans has also education. He has a diploma. He's Diplom-Baumeister. So Robert knows about, it is very important, Google says, giving background about them and the areas they write about. So in this case, Robert knows about economics and general business and investing, and Hans knows about beer. Robert is an entity in the Google Knowledge Graph, quite old entity. And so Robert has a KGM ID, like a unique identifier that is tied to this Robert, even if there are more of the same name. And that is an M starting one means that it's like a pretty old one as well. And Google also has a knowledge graph and knows that he has a PhD in economics from Harvard University and so on. Hans, not. Google has no idea about Hans, so he's not that important. So only a few entities have their unique KGM ID, and Hans is not one of them. So, but Google also knows something about entities without this ID. So it's not, so Google knows a lot more, but only the most important ones get their own KGM ID. All the others are basically all the others. And a person is an entity with or without KGM ID. And a place is an entity, like Munich, administrative area here, for example, it's a schema type. And a product is an entity, like beer. Hey, see, Hans can move. You want to see it again? Some SEOs say that they see higher impact optimizing for publishers than for author, but when it comes to entities, this does not make sense because author and publisher are roles, not entities. So, for example, publisher can be an organization, but technically it's also possible that a person can be a publisher because it's really about the entities that can have those roles, and one entity can also have multiple roles. And the key is to optimize the entity behind the role. So often our organizations are stronger entities than our authors. And you can also test it very easily. But here, for example, we have this organization, SIXT, where Hans is working for. And yes, we know SIXT has a KGM ID, Hans not. And the small test would be, you just go outside and ask 1,000 representative random Germans if they have A, ever heard about an organization named SIXT SE, or B, have ever heard about a person named Hans from Munich who has studied Diplom-Braumeister and is awesome. And then you check out for this random 1,000 people, which know it. Or you check out how many articles in international media mention an organization named SIXT SE, or B, a person named Hans from Munich that has, And an entity gets only an open KGM ID if Google sees enough mentions clearly belonging to this entity. 20 minutes? Yeah, don't make so much pressure. So, how can I check my entity in the Google Knowledge Graph? Good question. Now you have to get out your phones. We have interaction time. Scan this QR code. Grab your phone, scan the code. And what will happen is you will land on Google. And then, of course, you click on Google on the first result. This is this one here. And go to my nice tool that I have developed last October for the SEO day in Cologne. And then when you are on this tool and you have clicked in Google, then you see this. Here, you please type your person entity name. I know this might sound complicated. So if you forgot and you don't remember it anymore, look at your Personalausweis. There, your name is clearly written. So check out your Personalausweis, type in your entity name into the tool, and yeah, look what happens. And it might happen that you see an entity, or it might happen that you are like Hans and you're not included there. So, who of you has a KGM ID with their person? Stand up, please. You are the most prominent for now. Please also stand up. Yes, yes, yes. Now, for all of the rest of you who didn't have, wow, cool. We have a lot of great people here. The others now check the organization they are working for. Find out if your organization has a KGM ID. So, if you don't remember the legal entity name, you can look at the Handelsregister. So basically the Handelsregister is like the Personalausweis for your organizations. Now, if your organization is there, check if your organization has a confidence score above 100. No? Okay. 2 are done. Now, check if your organization has a description. Something like company or so on. Here are the real-life descriptions from other companies. For example, SEMrush here has search engine marketing company, or Zalando has online retail company. Yeah. Now, check if your organization has an image. If not, sit down. Cool. Very strong organizations. This site here is clearly still standing. Yeah, you have SIXT, this is obvious. You have SEMrush, obvious. What organizations have you? Yeah, 17 minutes left, I know. Why should we care about entities? Good question, Thiago. Yeah, exactly. Sit down again. Now I have to quote Olaf Kopp because he knows about Google patterns and he's reading them. I'm not patient enough to read such big texts, but anyway, he found out that there is a document level and domain level and the source entity level. And so document level means everything that is on a single landing page, like keywords, whatever text, images. We have the domain level. This is the stuff like backlinks, page speed, and so on. But then there is this source entity level that he invented. And this is what we are talking today about. So it's not about the content on your domain. It's not about your domain. It's about the publisher or the author or the entities related to it. So this ominous source entity level has a few factors, for example, existence in the Google Knowledge Graph and recognized as a person or organization entity. but also a lot of other things. But today we focus here on verified credentials, entity references, brand recognition, presence in authoritative structured online databases and encyclopedias, popularity of the source entity, and number of backlinks or references to this. So, yes, I know, enough theory, show me the tricks. Yes, I see your impatience. So, everyone knows about that Wikipedia is very strong for entity optimization. Yes, all have heard of this. So, the first sentence of the article in Wikipedia, the summary, is most important. So in this example, we have here die SIXT SE mit Sitz in Pullach ist ein internationaler börsennotiertes familiengeführter Konzern, der in Autovermietung, Carsharing und Fahrdienstvermittlung tätig ist. And we can check out, within this sentence, there are other entities mentioned. So Pullach im Isartal is an entity. Autovermietung and carsharing as well, and so these are industries. So Autovermietung seems to be very important for this company. The English version here is SIXT SE is an international mobility service provider with about 2,000 locations in more than 100 countries. SIXT SE acts as parent holding company for the SIXT Group, which is internationally active in the business areas of vehicle rental, car sharing, and ride-hailing. So vehicle rental, okay. What is vehicle rental? So I have asked Gemini and have asked, is vehicle rental exactly the same like car rental? And it says, yeah, not really. And so I really wonder why SIXT in their Wikipedia article in English says that they are doing vehicle rental. But anyway, the organization description should contain a knowledge graph topic, because it's not only persons and organizations in the knowledge graph, but also topics. So I looked up vehicle rental and I found out, no, there is no vehicle rental. The topic, the entity is actually car rental. I know it's not the same like vehicle rental, but it can make a huge difference for SEO how you name it. So car rental has an own KGM ID as a topic. Car rental also has a this box. And it has also a Wikipedia article. Strange that the car rental image on Wikipedia says enterprise thing, right? Is it not time for changing the... Anyway, no, you're not doing car rental. I know you're doing vehicle rental. But so if you are not relevant enough for Wikipedia, what is for most companies thing, you can also go into Wikidata. So Wikidata is way less restrictive. So it is way easier to include your entity in Wikidata than to go on Wikipedia, but it's also very impactful. And for example, we have here SIXT. This is also included in Wikidata. And there is this thing also known as. So we see here we have SIXT is also known as SIXT Car Hire, SIXT Shlomo, and SIXT SE. If we look at other companies with other that are also doing SEO, for example, the Hertz Corporation, then you see that they're known as is Hertz Rent a Car, Hertz Rent a Car, Hertz Rent a Car. So I think probably their SEO took some effort in optimizing Wikidata. They are not the only one, budget has also car rental, rent a car. So it seems that at least in English, probably car rental is a stronger keyword than vehicle rental or car hire, what SIXT is actually optimizing for. So optimize your company description and try to include your most important topic in the same writing like the entity is in your company description. So create a good descriptive text with semantic triples and other named entities. So for example, name is an industry company in region. The target is a precise subline and correct mentions in LLMs. So in this example with mouse records, there are a lot of options. So I can say it's a company, or it is a music company, or a music corporation, or a record label, or a music label. So I have to decide which of those is probably best fitting, and then I create a description for my company that is including those in this semantic triples, like Mouse Records is a record label specializing in electronic music and techno with its headquarters in New York. So this would be a great first sentence that is connecting different entities, topic, location, organization, and so on. Real-life organization descriptions in the knowledge graph are here, for example, SIXT has a description company. We have here the Avis budget group. It's a holding company because it's something together. But there's also, for example, Hertz, they are a car rental company. So it really seems that they totally get into this car rental topic. I don't know why. So what if you could change your description once and many trusted websites would publish it? Would be a dream, right? You do the work once and a lot of people will copy it. And now I show you the trick that I have done, but have never talked about on a conference. And you will get now the secret hot knowledge. So I have even here this fire emojis created for you. All those websites will take over your new description with the cool keywords inside. And they are really trusted, some of them. What do you need to do? One real-life appointment to bring a massive online boost. Change your company name. Easy as that. A German company can have a Firmenzusatz, and let's look at this nice company here, Wingman Online Marketing GmbH. So, for example, they could change their name into, and for my experience it's possible, Wingman Online Marketing GmbH minus KI and Geo Agentur. They would probably don't want it, but I would just say it is technically possible to just put something after your GmbH, like minus, and then put some keywords there. And what would happen? So yeah, no legal advice, just experience. I have done it with other companies, and of course it's a lot of trouble, and I think, yeah, SIXT will probably not do it. But then all those scrapers here get the information from the Handelsregister and will change their landing pages about those companies. So it could look like this, Wingman Online Marketing GmbH, KI und Geo Agentur Hamburg. I know. I have more tricks for you. So yeah, Thiago, I know, I don't think they would rename SIXT SE into SIXT SE car rental just for SEO, because then they have to reprint all the business cards. I understand this. Also all the letters and so on, because you have to put the full business name on a lot of documents. So changing your business name, even if just minus keyword, means a lot of bureaucracy afterwards. So only do it if your company is pretty new or you don't care so much about business cards. So yeah, if you're renaming the company, it's, okay, got it. Renaming the company is off the table, but what you can do without all the hassle is to change the company purpose. Let's go for a real example. So in the Handelsregister, there is a thing called Gegenstand des Unternehmens. In this example, we have here Vermietung und Verwertung von Fahrzeugen, Flugzeugen und Mobilien, Führung, Übernahme sowie Verwaltung und Vertreuung von Gesellschaften und Beteiligungen und bladibla. There is nothing about car rental. Autovermietung, not mentioned once in the purpose of this company. It has something to do with airplanes, I remember. So here, leasing and commercialization of vehicles, aircrafts, and movable property managing companies. That is what SIXT is doing. So yes, Thiago, we do something with airplane leasing, but what is about car rental? Good question. So you could change the company purpose without a lot of bureaucracy into, for example, SIXT SE is a car rental company and holding headquartered in Munich. In addition to cars, trucks, the company also rents and leases aircrafts and vehicles of all kinds. SIXT SE invests in other companies and movable assets and manages and supervises shareholdings across various industries, including car sharing, services, and other mobility solutions. I would be sure that your lawyer would not be so much against it, because the aircrafts are still inside. I know it's very important for you probably because of some tax stuff probably, but yeah, try to get car rental into this. Just... Yeah, thank you, Thiago. Talk to the board. There are the names of the people you have to talk to. Make an appointment tomorrow, I would say. Names of people is also a very good thing to optimize. So if you have a Kapitalgesellschaft, then you have also names of people connected to this. For example, Wingman Online Marketing GmbH, they have Geschäftsführer. And, first we go to Gegenstand des Unternehmens. What Wingman Online Marketing GmbH is doing is der Betrieb und die Beratung von Online Marketing. Did you know that there is no character limit in the company purpose? You can use as many characters as you can imagine. Why do you have so...
We had to found within 24 hours.
Yeah. I don't know. Just change your company purpose. So what about this?
Can I have the slide?
Yes. So yeah, of course this is a joke. It's this joke. An SEO walks into a bar, pub, tavern, lounge. Yeah, you know the joke. But a more serious approach could be the publication of specialized information in the field of search engine optimization and generative engine optimization, as well as related activities. The research, creation, and maintenance of industry analysis, studies, rankings, particularly annually published lists of the world's best SEO agencies and geo-specialists, and so on. So you get the idea. If you put such stuff into a text, and this text is then copied by 100 trusted websites, and it is always the name of the company combined with stuff like best SEO agencies and geo-specialists. Yes?
You write best SEO agency.
Yeah.
And I go to Muhr.
Yes.
You have a big...
You told me earlier, that's why I have not shown real life examples, because you threatened this earlier. But I just say that if no one is complaining a lot, but you say here it is about the research, creation and maintenance of industry analysis, studies and rankings, particularly annual published lists of the world's best SEO agencies. I do not say that this company is world's best SEO agency, because you're absolutely right, this is not allowed. Yeah, but absolutely. I hear the complaints and I know that you have to talk to your lawyer. This is not legal advice. Just be a little bit more creative than just have 3 words as your company purpose. And leasing airplanes. Don't forget about this. So, persons as experts. Now we're coming to this other thing. Connected to the organization entity via the Handelsregister are also persons. So, for example, in the case of SIXT, there is stuff like Vorstand, Aufsichtsrat, and so on. So, for example, Alexander SIXT is a person that is mentioned in the Handelsregister, somehow related to this company, and is also in the Google Knowledge Graph. With a G ID, so it's a little bit newer than those M IDs, but still, it's like a very good entity. And if you want to have your employees to be recognized by Google, it might help to promote them. Because, for example, here we have also like people like Johann Casimir Achim Walter Hans Lobegott von Hülsen is also mentioned in the Handelsregister, and we have more verified online profiles for connected person entities. So why not promote everyone to be Geschäftsführer? You can have as many Geschäftsführer as you want. Of course, there is also some legal requirements involved, but in theory, there is no limit in the amount of Geschäftsführer, Aufsichtsräte, or whatever. And they are all mentioned by name in the Handelsregister and even get their own profiles, like you have seen. So not the company gets profiles, but every mentioned person as well on all those websites. So, in a European company, there is no legal maximum number of supervisory board or executive board members. So at SIXT, make every SEO author like, Aufsichtsrat. Great suggestion, right? Or let only the Aufsichtsrat write SEO articles. That would be another cool thing. So get your entities, persons, and organizations mentioned in relevant context. Get those lists where other entities that are already in the knowledge graph are mentioned. Yes, this is a lot of work. Can an AI agent do this for me? Good question, Thiago. Yes, you said I should not do here pitching, but my startup Polis is offering marketing automation, entity optimization intended as a white label solution. So if you want to resell it or just pretend that you do all the work yourself, sure, you can do it. So give me 500 euros per organization, one-time fee, and at least 50 highly relevant listings. I know you want it. So, yes, I know, no sales pitch. Sorry. I'm done. Thank you. So, any questions, but not Lars? A few weeks. I started as soon as I got confirmation that I can speak, and since then I'm only all the time knitting, or what is the English word? Repeat it. So you mean like if you want to sell beer on an online shop, that you mean you should optimize for the product, right?
Correct, yeah.
So I think every product is an entity. So if you have, for example, a product feed for Google Shopping, or you have an online store and you use structured data, and most products have a unique identifier. So if it's like a book, it's an ISBN, or if it's like another product, they have specific variables. Try to make sure that your structured data contains those unique identifiers, and then Google will recognize your entities in your store. And also you see this very often then, that Google is summarizing and show a lot of different stores for the same product, or sometimes also clustering reviews together. So there is one product and reviews from a lot of different sources. So that is then a very clear sign that Google understood that you are meaning this specific entity as a product. And on the other side, you have your base graph. So you have your organization that is included also in schema, saying like your organization is a provider of this website that is an online shop that is offering this product. And on the other side, you have then probably someone from your Vorstand or a Geschäftsführung or another entity, like a person. And then this person is giving a recommendation saying like, I am, as an expert for XY, recommend this product for this purpose. And if you have all this on the same landing page, like a product detail page, I think this might be very beneficial for Google to understand and bring everything together, and then also know that your person knows about topics, that your organization is employing person, and that your shop is offering product. Let me go a little bit back, because I think when I showed those real life examples, I think it would also be better if you're having like holding. And I'm just not happy with you being just a company in your description.
Me neither.
So, okay, cool. And exactly, this one, I mean. So I have seen this, so it is great that it is a description at all. I have seen many companies that didn't even have a KGM ID. So first step is get a KGM ID, but there are always different levels of leveling up. And being named as a company, great, you have a description, but now you can optimize. And this is what I wanted to tell you, that there is an opportunity to become a holding company or a car rental company. Both is fine, but both is a little bit more specific than just company. If you're a holding company, then in your knowledge panel, you normally have then the other entities listed below your holding. And then one of those is probably then a car rental company or an airplane leasing company or whatever. So still I think Google needs some help to understand better what you are. And as I mentioned here, the SIXT SE Wikipedia entries are also not that clear what you actually do, because you probably don't know yourself what you actually do, and probably you have also not written it in the Handelsregister correct. So these are 3 entry points you could start with: correct Wikipedia, correct Handelsregister, and have like a unified, with your PR department, unified company description, something like SIXT SE is a holding company in the industries of car rental, truck rental, airplane leasing, whatever. But don't say like, we are a family company in different business areas and do a lot of stuff, but we don't know what exactly. Just name the different industries in your company description. Exactly. So you cannot change it just like this. It's Google is defining it. So this is just the output from the API from Google that is giving you the description, and Google is getting it from different sources. And only if those different sources say the same thing, then the description is changed. But in my experience, it helps if you have a sentence like SIXT SE is a car rental company from Munich, and you repeat this sentence on 100 relevant pages, like in the Handelsregister. Yeah, the confidence score is nothing that you can compare. The confidence score is only compared to the keyword I have searched for. So in this case, I have searched for the legal entity name. So I have searched for SIXT SE. Because I always do this. Like I try to research the legal entity name from the Handelsregister, and then I look up if this if the confidence score is higher than 100, because this is also one step in the optimization to make sure that when you look for the legal entity name, the showing entity has at least 100 or something. It's a random value. Google, for example, or Amazon, they have a higher confidence score if I look for their legal entity name. This has something to do of the number of mentions that are considered by Google to belong to this. Score is way higher than if you have a very small company or like a regional company. I would say as specific as possible, but try to research first what is the name of the topic in the Google Knowledge Graph. As you have seen, car hire is not a knowledge graph topic. Vehicle rental is not a knowledge graph topic. Car rental is. So in this case, I would say SIXT SE is a company that is also doing car rental and many other things. Then it's very specific because it is mentioning one specific entity, in this case an industry. Also, I highly recommend to mention the place where the headquarter is. So I would say best practice, I have mentioned it somewhere, is company is an industry company in place. Then in the next sentence, very often mention the founders or the CEO, because they very often are also entities. So try to draft the description that is mentioning as much as possible other entities that are already in the knowledge graph. That is my recommendation there.